You're listening to 89.1 WIDR FM, your source for radio evolution. And this is Wombat Music taking you through the rabbit hole with Papersound.
Hello.
Yeah,
Thank you for having us.
That's us.
Appreciate being here.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be the Wombat Hole?
You know what?
Don't say that.
Maybe I gotta change my name or something.
Rebrand.
Got him.
Yes.
Starting
But,
really good.
Yeah, off to a start.
but yeah, guys, thank you so much for coming tonight. I know that you just played at my house a few weeks ago, a month ago. I
We
don't
sure did.
remember.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, I have to have you on the show after this. This is awesome. So.
It was awesome. That was probably our favorite show that we played so far
Very nice of you.
ever. It was awesome.
Very exciting to play
Yes.
the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we played the Super Bowl.
We played.
We did play the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, we had the Super Bowl on in the living room, but let's be honest, nobody was watching that.
No.
So, but can you all introduce yourselves and tell everybody who we have in the studio tonight?
Yeah, so my name is Kyle. I play rhythm guitar, I do vocals, and I write for Papersound. I'm the gimmick violist. And yeah, pleased to be here.
Cameron is what they call me on the streets. I play lead guitar and I sing poorly, and I also am one of the primary songwriters, and sometimes I play trombone if I feel like it, if they coax me into it.
Whoa.
He says. Hi, my name is Jeremy Lane. They call me Mr. Lane, as far as my students know in school. But I do percussion, I play drums, I do vocals. I have a couple songs that I brought to Papersound. It's pretty fun. I enjoy what I do.
I'm bassist, and I scream.
Yeah, he does.
Scream well.
Love that. And will you also do the wider live here? You were telling me earlier.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So you all are students at Western, right? Or you were at one point?
Correct.
We all
We're all
still
all
Yes,
current students,
all of
yes.
us are.
Okay, awesome. And so is that how you came together as a band, or how did you all find each other?
That's a story for these two yahoos down here.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
That's all about.
Kyle and I were just sitting on my back porch because we study composition together at Western, and we just looked at each other about the same time and said we should start a band. And then we recruited people that we knew and that we knew played instruments well. So that's how it came to be, essentially.
I think it was a little more like, dude, we should like totally start a band, man.
Like the Beavis and Butthead
Yeah.
type
Yeah,
thing.
man.
That was
Ross.
how
That'd be awesome.
I was asked.
Yeah, because Cam, you had sent me a text like, "Hey, we're starting this band. Don't know how to describe it at all. Do you want to join?" And I was like, okay." And then I was the last member of the band to come on board, so I showed up to the first rehearsal and was like, "Oh, I don't know if this is gonna work." we're all just such different people with such different personalities from different walks of life, but we vibe and it's a good time. And I think the fact that we're all so different is kind of a testament to the way our music sounds.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can always bring something fresh to the table. So, are any of you in other projects? Cameron, I know you are.
Yeah, I have a solo project, Hatch. Working on an album right now. It's going to come out this year, indeterminate date, but I'm really excited for it. I just finished recording strings, and I'm going to record brass and woodwinds for it in a couple, actually next week. So it's going to be fun.
I played strings on it.
Yes, Kyle played strings on it.
Oh, you said viola?
Yeah.
Okay. So is that the only other project you're in, Kyle, right now?
Yeah, pretty much just Papersound and honorary member of Hatch.
Yes, as needed. When the dosing seems right, we're like, ooh, yeah, a little bit of string color here. Yes.
Yeah.
Only when we play Dormouse in second.
Yeah.
The other venues don't deserve strings.
Wow. I am not. I'm not currently in any other projects other than Papersound, but yeah.
I'm in Rome, and I have my own stuff under on Nern, and I've helped other artists on albums, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, everybody has something really, like when you get a whole bunch of talented musicians in one room, it's like, that's just a recipe for something great. So, yeah.
As musicians, we have a real luxury to be able to like just jam and then also kind of like make money doing that sometimes. It's
Yeah, it's just a little extra.
it's a very interesting career.
So.
Really is the most rewarding profession, intrinsically.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do what we love, and then occasionally, like once a month, we get paid to do it. It's pretty great. It's awesome. Oh.
Well, I wanted to ask you all how you picked the playlist for tonight, because I know we talked a little bit about it earlier, but these folks don't know, so.
That's right.
But yeah, every band I have on their show, I ask them to compile a playlist of maybe some music that has influenced their sound, so.
Yeah, I have this like very dual-faceted songwriting style where I have this kind of softer, folkier thing, and then this more up-tempo, punky, hardcore thing. Maybe not hardcore. I can hear metalheads objecting to it far away.
Poser.
Composer. So I picked a song by an artist called Aldous Harding. The song is called Warm Chris. It's just very soft and gentle and some really beautiful, creative, interesting songwriting. And then I picked a song by a band called Black Midi, 953. I really like the really flexible tempo and the really interesting groove, just, punky and also very artsy. I like it.
The two songs that I picked were, the first one is Kiwi by Quarters of Change, and it's like an indie song. It really influenced me in my guitar playing, especially. I really was influenced by the way that he created this really complex sliding riff that was really hard for me to learn. So I wanted to kind of replicate a riff like that, and so I used a riff similar to that in one of our songs. And I just really like the way that it sounds. The other song that I chose is from a band called The Smile, which is just an offshoot of Radiohead, the gods of music. Yeah, I just really like The Smile's aesthetic. It's very soft and melancholy. Tom York's voice really inspired me to use my falsetto tessitura more than I had before, and to write beautiful songs instead of just loud, angry songs. And that's where I've kind of focused my energies, is to creating something precious and lovely.
There's nothing wrong with loud, angry songs.
So I never really had a huge songwriting presence before Papersound. Papersound was my first real crack at writing music for a full band. Before I came to Western, I was at a community college that I had the ability to like co-run a music production club, and there I wrote like kind of solo project-y stuff, but nothing that ever really made it to what Papersound is today. But my writing style is I probably write some of the heaviest tunes in the band, and that's kind of been my main inspiration for my entire life. But I'm also really interested in writing lyrics that have a very, very deep meaning. I think all of us in the band find it very hard to write a song that isn't about something very near and dear to us in some way, whether it's for better or for worse. And that's kind of where the songs that I picked, the first one is called Gravity by Everlit, and I remember hearing that song while riding my bike for the first time. Not riding my bike for the first time, but I heard that song for the first time while riding my bike in the summer of 2018. Yes, summer of 2018. And I was just like immediately transported to this world of feeling good about the position I was in life. Just the way the music moved. It's so simple, but such a deep meaning. And I still jam out to the song still to this day. And the other song I picked is very similar in nature. Oh my gosh. Luke! We have someone watching us. We have a guest staring at us through the window.
That's
Through the glass.
Cam's roommate.
He's our
One of our-
groupie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's our honorary.
Anyway, while he's here, I'm
Honorary
gonna
photo
keep
with the
talking.
man through the
Amber.
glass.
Yeah.
But,
Sorry, keep talking.
But my vocal style that I like to use is a good mix of melodic stuff with a mix of extreme vocal technique. And that's kind of what I like to do, and I bring Will in on a lot of those vocals as well. But the second song that I picked is called Silence Is Also an Answer by Kenny Hoopla, and it's a very similar vibe to Gravity by Everlit, but it's just, another song that kind of makes you want to get up and move, and it's something that I can really see being played at a lot of the shows that we play, and that's kind of the style that I really try to shoot for.
I added hey us song by Julie, and it's a heavy fuzzy gaze-esque thing, and I just love how this sterile it is at times, and I have one of our songs I like heavily took from that whole style, and the other one I added is by a band called Boxing, and they started out as an average emo band, but they have grown into to an incredible, eclectic group of artists, and I mean, hearing how dense their songs are and inspires me to write better songs, and yeah.
Well, I can't wait to hear them. And Foxing, actually, my friend Hannah told me that their most recent album was her favorite album of 2024.
I would agree. It was incredible. I loved it.
Well, how about let's get started with your picks, Will. Daisy Pusher by Julie, and then Bit by a Dead Bee by Foxing. You're listening to
89.1 WIDR FM.
Your source for Radio Evolution. And you just heard Daisy Pusher by Julie and Bit by a Dead Bee by Foxing. Alright. So, I know you already kind of told the tale of how you came together as a group, but I wanted to know, so how long have you been playing, did you say? Like, when did you become a band?
I think our first rehearsal with like these 4 people here was September 10th.
It was.
Yeah.
September
Yeah.
10th.
It was
So we're
September
6 months
10th.
old
Yeah,
as of, what, 4 days ago?
4 days ago.
Yep.
Yeah,
Then we
that's it.
played I think we played our first live show at a WSCA open mic night in Dalton Center.
In October.
Yeah, about a month and a half later.
End of. Yeah.
It was the end of October, I think.
Yeah.
So did you already, well first I guess I want to ask, so what's the songwriting process like? I know the other night you said that you each kind of write your own pieces
Mhm.
and come together, so did you already have each of you some pieces on the back burner that you wanted to work on, or how did that all kind of come into play?
You did.
I had scraps of 2 songs,
Mhm.
and then I wrote the rest of them once Papersound was conceived, and then I wrote 2 more songs in the tenure of Papersound.
Mhm.
So kind of like, I would say like 20% of my music was written prior to Papersound's conception.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Just for in the same proportion for me, just bits and pieces laying around that I spliced and stole from myself and reappropriated, and yeah.
My situation is a little bit different. I had no material prepared upon Papersound's conception. I joined the band and learned what the rehearsal process and the learning process was like for the tunes, and learned that it was very chart based, and then I was like, oh, I can do this. I'm going to start writing songs. However, I am working on a new tune right now that is basically a revamping of a song that I wrote about 5 years ago. The only thing that's going to remain the same is some of the chord progressions and some of the lyrical rhythms. It's going to be a completely different song. So I think that is literally the only thing that I have pre-Papersound, but we haven't even started rehearsing that song yet. It's just a thought.
Had first I didn't even want to right for us, but I couldn't help it, and I did.
He cracked.
Yeah.
This man
I-
cannot stop his
Finally,
pen.
Cade, you just had to do it. You're like, well,
I just
okay.
I just like had other stuff. I was writing for. However, I am able to channel aspects of writing. I like haven't ever been able to until now, such as satire and heavier stuff, but yeah.
Right on. Well, it seems like you've all dipped your toe in writing music before, but Papersound was just kind of the catalyst you all needed to really get your gears going. So.
For me, definitely, that was the case.
Yeah. It's interesting because of how, to me at least, like how radically different Will's solo project Nern, and even like Imposter Syndrome, which is kind of more alt, like in a vein like Papersound, and Hatch's stuff is really different from Papersound too. It's just really exciting to see and be a part of how our individual voices kind of transmute into this strange amalgamation of paper and sound.
So,
It's a
how did
monster.
you come up with the name Papersound?
This is
Kyle
I have-
has a
As
whole
you're going on
list.
that tangent.
yeah, I had a list at least of like dumb band names that I had generated over the years, and so I think at an early rehearsal we were just like reading them together, and some of them were really really dumb.
Yeah.
There was one that was just Skoog. There was one that was let me think, there was Worm Servant.
Yeah.
There was Meat Love. There were
That's
various.
music Meatloaf.
No,
No,
it's
it
very
was
distinct.
could not
very
be
That's
farther
its own-
away
that's its
from
own
There's
thing.
Meatloaf.
Meat World, and some of those are from an old friend of mine. And then there were more like serious ones like Papersound and other cool ones, and
I suggested, I think,
Illusions of Azure.
Illusions
I think.
of Azure, which just didn't fit the just didn't
Who's
fit
Azure?
these. Azure, like blue, the color blue.
Yeah. It sounds like a metalcore band.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
it's a super
Yeah,
metalcore
that's a
name.
stick. That's a stick logo. That's a pile of stick logo band.
Illegible font band.
The actual I could be wrong. I don't think we ever had a full conversation about this. I just kind of went with it. But the term paper sound literally just refers to the paper, as in the charts that we write, and the sound that comes out of them.
Yeah,
That's what the name comes from.
we all read classical sheet music, so we can,
Yeah.
we're adept at
We're over here looking at Will.
So,
Some of us.
that.
Yeah, no, we're all. I would say we're
It's
all
meaningful.
fairly classically enough trained musicians that
Yeah.
we all kind of function in the same way in that respect.
All right.
It's kind of
Well, how about let's play another few songs here.
right on, man.
Next up we have Warm Chris by Aldous Harding. Alduous. Okay.
I believe.
Yes,
I believe.
these are Kyle's picks, so. Yeah, he knows.
Not to be confused with Aldous Huxley.
Yes.
Yeah, right, no, I-
Don't worry,
same
we're
vibe,
only
but-
here tonight. Then next we have 953 by Black Midi. You're listening to 89.1
89.1
WIDR FM.
Your source for
Radio Evolution.
I was like Evolution Radio.
but trust you, their band is more in time than that.
Yeah,
I think
sure.
yeah.
Usually.
Depends on who you ask.
Jeremy didn't count us in that time, so we had no.
Yeah, next
That's
time
That's
we
true.
need you to count down the
Yeah.
downbeat so we all know where it is. But anyway, you just heard Warm Chris by
Aldous Harding.
yes, Aldous Harding, and then 953 by Black Midi. So I know before the song break we were talking a little bit about how you write music, and you said that you can all and the name of the sound of the band, because you said it was Papersound, and it's because it's literally you read the sheet music on the paper and then you make the sounds.
Yeah.
Riveting.
We extract.
So, do you all write your own songs then, and then like bring sheet music to the rest of the band and have them, or what do practices look like for you?
Well, when we're focused and productive, the composer of the song will bring kind of like a lead sheet or a chart. So it has chords, usually like the main melody, like the vocal melody or the lead riff, things like that, time signature, tempo, etc. But then we all write our own parts, and we kind of discuss like how those parts interface with each other, the other parts, and kind of try to form some sort of interesting, structure, framework, counterpoint, and then if it doesn't work, we change it and keep going.
So all of us come with the sonic idea in our heads, like it's not just an acoustic guitar jam, and then we add drums to it. Like we conceptualize drums and bass and everything. We conceptualize the full orchestration, each of us, and then we bring it and we try to elaborate on what we're hearing in our heads. And it works because we all can adapt to each other's nonsense very well, very quickly.
Yeah, I think every one of our songs has gone through many different phases before it's reached the final product. Like, for example, when I bring in a new tune, I'll put whatever the song is called, version 1, and then by the time we actually perform it live, it's up to like version 1.5 to version 3, whatnot. But yeah, like Cam said, we all show up with the idea of what we want in our head, and we have the actual paper outline. And based on that, we all know the general form, all the basics of the music, key signature, time signature, and then we just kind of go from there.
Some of the charts are like one and done. We play it, we might change our individual parts, but the organization of the song is the same. And then we have a song like Soy-Based Mayonnaise, where there are like 6 different versions of it. Like 6 different charts were made for that song because I couldn't make up my mind.
But the changes, I think, are pretty minute. Like they're not.
That's fair. It's splitting hairs sometimes.
It's more like, oh, let's cut off on beat 3 here, like, and then we have beat 4 of silence.
Yeah.
And that's like the change that for between versions. Like
There is truthfully only one song that we have ever written in a jam format.
We can't say the name on here.
Yeah, we can't.
It's a fun song.
It's a fun song. We've only played it live one time.
It's a blues number.
Oh yeah, that one.
We'll play it. It's coming up.
we wrote it during a show.
Yeah, we
It's like
said
nice
the
to
first.
music.
That's just like that was a lie.
You
At
at the first show,
Didn't happen.
at the one and only show we played this song at, we had the song, finished before the gig, obviously. But then at the end of the gig, we said, okay, we actually have one more song left. We wrote this 15 minutes ago, and we had just been playing for like 45 minutes.
We have a neural
I'm
link.
sure some of it was like improvised on the spot,
Yeah.
but
Well, I'm saying we conceived of the idea during latency I think it was Punk Hazard. Do you recall that?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Like we just
wasn't.
like Kyle brought out his viola and he started playing a fiddle tune.
Oh, we
and
just
we all
did.
joined in. Yeah, and then that was the birth of that song, and then we said, all right, we need to codify this thing. So yeah, it was a jam at a show, just improv jam. We didn't even talk about it beforehand. We just started playing. That's funny.
Yeah, something came up where we were like, oh, we now have 3 minutes just in the middle of our set that we need to fill Okay.
I guess we can do
and go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although in general, you guys seem like pretty organized, like way more organized than most people. So, and it,
Not me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
They're
Right.
compensating for me.
No.
Sure.
They are compensating for me.
well, maybe on the surface, just because I know a lot of other bands that the way that they write music is just jamming out and seeing what fits or what sticks, but actually coming to the band with a plan at practice, whether or not that always works or not, it you sound very well put together, even though you've been only together 6 months. So
I think the fact that we all come from a classical background to some extent means that we bring our classical rehearsal practices to Papersound. So like even though our sound is just a little weird and a little crazy, like a crumpled up paper ball type thing.
That's totally not a logo or anything. It's
No, it's not becoming our logo. I don't know, but even though that is our sound, it's all very carefully calculated and very well rehearsed, I would say. I think that's one of the things we pride ourselves on is our ability to show up well rehearsed.
Well practiced and then rehearse efficiently.
you're listening to
89.1 WIDR FM. Your source for radio evolution.
Revolution.
1, 2, 3, go.
Whoa.
Ooh.
I think that was the most enthusiastic anybody's ever yelled at on air. So
We pull
Took
up.
like 4 tries to learn 10 words.
if anybody was sleeping, they're awake now. So even though that last song, I was like, I'm ready for bed now.
Wake up!
Free in the Knowledge by The Smile, and you also heard Kiwi by Quarters of Change. So I wanted to ask you all, so what are some bands or artists that have inspired your playing style the most?
Like as individuals or like as a band or just whatever?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think maybe more individuals.
Yeah.
I own worst enemy.
Schism by Tool.
Anyway.
Yeah, no. Like in more seriousness, like I listened to a lot of like Green Day and Blink-182 when I was in middle school, and I thought they were so cool. I like at my chem, etc. I love the stage presence of Gerard Way, Freddie Mercury. That's a little different because he's a full-time vocalist, both of them. But yeah, I don't know. Just really, I love big personalities. I love doing like a really simple power chord thing and just having the time of your life doing it. So.
Green Day.
Yeah, really
Okay.
go.
I didn't even mean to do that.
My biggest guitar influence. So I like Radiohead. In case you didn't realize that, sad boy, resident sad boy. Actually, we're all sad boys,
Yeah.
I imagine. Ed O'Brien is my favorite guitarist ever, and he's the second guitarist of Radiohead. Not even the first one. Probably even the third one if Tom York's playing. But I love his attention to what suits the song. And he does crazy effects, and he does really interesting textures that just complement what the rest of the band is doing. He has no ego, and he just stays behind. Sometimes he doesn't even play on songs, and I really, really admire his musicianship. I think the best musician is one that knows when not to play. Also, he is a master of the EBow technique, and I have an EBow, and
Not a master.
No, I am quite good.
Yeah, you are.
But that's one of the things that I think helps me stand out is my frequent use of EBow. If you don't know what EBow is, it's just an infinite sustainer that just vibrates the strings forever, so it just sounds like a violin, an electric violin, and I just really love the tone of it. It's just lovely, and it fits a lot of different songs, and it's very versatile. So yes, Ed O'Brien, my guitar hero.
It's kind of interesting for me to talk about my own influences as far as my drumming style and my writing style because I grew up at a super young age playing drum set and taking lessons. But then once I graduated high school and started college, I shifted my attention drastically towards classical percussion, stuff like four mallet marimba playing and whatnot, and percussion ensemble, classical percussion. Uh, so I never really had a single influence as far as my style of drumming goes, but again, I'll go back to what I mentioned earlier about before I came to Western, I was in a ton of jazz ensembles, whether they were combos or big bands, and I kind of shifted my attention from the rock punk style drumming that I grew up with to big band drumming. And that's what really developed my technical ability behind the kit. But in the context of Papersound, I would say that my biggest influence is a drummer who is in a band called Chelsea Grin. He's no longer touring with them. His name is Pablo Viveros. But he brings such precision and such energy to his aggressive style of playing, but he's also a vocalist at the same time on top of that. And he was a vocalist for another band before he became the drummer for Chelsea Grin, which then he combined the two of those to be a supporting vocalist. And he is kind of the main inspiration to what I do today in Papersound.
On bass, Herrick, Judy of honest mouse. He always had an incredible sense of melody in his uh, 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 parts.